So now we want to go with the other methods. The other methods are the validate field and validate field value. I want to show when they are going to hit and work. I'm going to just open my form and modify some field value, say account type, current to fixed or whatever it is. And let me do one thing meanwhile. When we are trying to write the validate a field and validate field value, there is one thing you want to understand. You don't need to write the same validation in both the places. Like say you are writing the validate right. If you check for current account, I mean account type in validate right or minimum balance in validate right, you don't need to check in validate field, because you don't need to do any validation in two places. If you are checking in validate field, that is the first method that gets called, and then it will go to the validate right. So if you are checking in validate field or validate field value, you don't need to do the same validation in validate right. You know why? Already you are doing the validation and that is fixed. After that it will come to the validate right, right? So that's the point. Now let us do one thing. We'll see which method is called first, validate field or validate field value or validate right, and we'll understand how the stuff is working, right? I didn't change any code. The code is as is. Yesterday whatever is there, today we have the same thing. I'm just clicking on run. If it throws the error for the sign in or whatever it is, we'll sign in, we'll minimize that window, we'll stop and we'll run again. It should fix the problem, because sometimes it is not taking this stuff. Okay, we'll see. And I hope you are going to get the same problem, so try in my way whatever I'm trying to tell. And yeah, we'll see how it works. It is opening here. Let's hold on a second. You're getting another voice also. There is actually one more session running. My brother is taking one more session, and I think his voice is more. Okay, great. So we got that watch here. We got two records. And edit. I want to change only the name Mahesh to Mahesh H double H, right? I'm using tab. Remember, I'm using tab. I'm not hitting save or anything. I'm just changing to another field, tab, right? And oh man, we are not able to hit the breakpoint here actually. What is this? Oh, 1 second here. I'm sorry. Actually, it has to open the form breakpoint. I don't know why it didn't open the breakpoint, man. I just verified a couple of minutes back. Still the same problem. This is the most stupid thing I'm facing every day. It has to, stop it here. Stop at this breakpoint. This is really frustrating. Did it load the symbols? No, right? I really don't know why it is not loading our symbols. Right, at least now it opened. Okay, I just don't have any answer. Okay, because it's not my problem. As simple as that. We really don't need to, kind of worry about these breakpoints until we know how it is working. But yeah, I just want to show you the breakpoints myself, because I want to show the method calling sequence to you guys. If I don't show the calling sequence, if I speak, it's of no use, right? So that's why I'm trying, and I'm trying to get rid of these error messages. I'll do one thing. I'll just get 8.0 environment on this one. Okay, it's 7.3. We'll get 8.0 ASAP. Okay. So was there, I mean, it was trying to open the form. It's in processing and it is trying to hit this. So was there, I didn't do anything. It was opening with the error. It logged in with my user itself. I stopped, I ran again, and it is picking the new user, right? The bigger problem we have is whenever we try to build, it is going to reset the IAS. And this is the bigger problem. And the problem here is we are running as administrator and we logged in with a different user. It is trying to pass the administrator all the times. And it is saying you are not the right user, and I don't have any way to fix this problem because I already logged in with my user. Still it is passing administrator, and that is the problem with environment itself. The environment has to pass whenever we are working with Dynamics AX project. It has to pass the user I'm trying to log into the Visual Studio. That is what it has to do, usual way. If you go to any other project like C# or whatever it is, it will behave in the same way, like it will pass the user whatever you are using, and it will open with that user. You can just go and check if you are C# users, and if you try to work with some ASP.NET web service or whatever it is. Now the problem with this is I don't know, somehow it is passing administrator. I understood the problem, but I don't have any solution because it is from the core of Microsoft Visual Studio. I don't have anything to do, and I wish the Microsoft guys come up with some solution, and they came up with the solution in 8.0, but that is not patched or that is not taken care in 7.3. So we are getting this problem. Either case, we don't need to worry now. Let's continue. And yeah, it is opening the form. So I'm trying to change the value here, right? Let us see what it's going to do. Let's click on edit and let us change the value. And I'm using the tab. Let us see what are all the methods it's going to hit, right? Tab. The first method it is hitting is the validate field, not the validate write. So remember, whenever you change a value, the method it's going to hit is validate field. I'm running from validate field. I'm using F10, better, F10, F10, F10. And was there the next method it is calling is validate field value, but we want to see the stack, right? So was there your validate field super is calling validate field value. You see this, right? So it is actually on the super. The previous method call is in the super. The super of validate field is calling validate field value. If you comment this super, it will not call the validate field value. Please understand this, right? And once you go into the validate field value, you can write the code in validate field also. We never used to have this validate field value in AX 2009. This was introduced in 2012. This was there in 4.0, 5.0, 6.0, 7.0, and maybe you will have in 8.0, 9.0, 10.0 also, right? So now F10, I'm kind of digging into this, and I'll use F11. It is not going anywhere, so it is going to the kernel, and you cannot debug into this one. It is going to the kernel, checking for whatever the stuff you are doing. And watch here, the field name is name, be modified name. Field ID is, let me go back and see the field ID, right? So field ID is 60002. So what's there? The difference, if you see the name, should be easier. If you see the ID, should be hard, right? 60002. Who will understand what is 60002? Right? If you say modify or validate the field 60002, no one will understand. So try to understand, you should not use these hard-coded values. I'm going to write some small stuff, right? Let me stop. I want to validate the name. I can say like this: if field ID to check equals to 60002, then do something. In future, if this 60002 is changed by, you don't change AX, how it's going to change? That is the question. Whenever we move the code from one environment to another, it will pick based on the order and based on availability of the IDs. You cannot assume it's going to take the same 60002. It may change the ID depending on the availability. Usually it will import in ABCD order. Now name is not in A, B, C, D or whatever it is. It is at the last, right? N, M, N. So it is at last corner. And the ABCD will get first preference. So if you are trying to import into some other environment, it may take in ABCD order, assume. And it will give 60002 to the field starting with A or B or C or whatever it is. In that case, what happens here? You may lose this one. In AX 2012, we used to have a facility. We can export the IDs also. And sometimes it may conflict if you already have the fields. Remember, if you are doing customization, you already have the field and field ID, it will conflict. So that's why we don't do that. But yeah, we have that facility. Now AX7, we don't have that facility. We'll create a deployable package. AX will take care of rest of the things. We don't need to select any checkboxes for exporting the IDs, all those things. So that's why don't use this. So sir, how we are going to use field ID? We should not use 60002. What should I use? You have to use a method called as field num. Field num will generate the ID or get the ID and will check. And how we are going to use the field num? You want to use the name of the table. The name of the table is vpb3 underscore comma name. That's done. Now you know what happens. This field num will generate the ID. What is the ID of name? 60002. It will generate 60002 and it will compare with this field ID 60002. As simple as that. You can ask why we want to check for each and every field. Let's add a validation now, right? I'm just adding one simple validation. If how to get the current record? How to get the current record? Oh, come on here. How to point the current record? Any idea or no idea? Okay, good. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not watching the chat. Okay. This dot minimum balance is less than or equals to 0 or will give less than 0. I want to throw the error, right? We'll stop. Well, the two ways again. I told you, you can throw the error, but if you throw the error, it's, like slapping. We should not slap the people. Okay. So don't slap. Instead, tell them, boss, this is the problem. Please change and return false. So how do we do that? You have written check failed, return equal to check failed. Minimum balance should not be negative integer or negative value, whatever, just give some stuff, right? Now let us build this again. And because we changed code, remember, and you may ask, you are building very frequently. I don't build very frequently unless, I just don't want that. So, I mean, I just modified something. So remember, I modified a lot of things here, right? Writing some code here for validation. And yeah, I want to build here. Now let us start this. And hopefully it has to get these breakpoints again now. Otherwise, we'll have hard time to debug. That is super. I'm just not doing anything here. I'm stopping running, and that's it. I don't know why it is not picking these. Sometimes why it is picking these. Sometimes you watch that it is asking for login again. So it's not at all my problem. Okay. It will log in now. Let it log in. I'll stop and run. I think this is all with IAS reset something is doing. And my Visual Studio is not passing properly. So the only fix is to get the 8.0. I think you will not have these problems, I'm assuming, because you're on 8.0. But I have this bad problem. It's becoming hard time here showing the debugging. You see that? Nothing done, right? Right. So let us edit this and kind of see for which field I'm trying to validate. I'm trying to validate for the minimum balance field, right? But I'm trying to change name field. Let's see whether it's going to call the validate field. It is calling validate field and validate value, right? Let us change the male to female, and it is calling the validate field validate field value. And I'm trying to change the, minimum balance. It is calling the validate field and validate field value. Now, till now, it is not doing anything, but it will check now. Watch here, right? Let me check the minimum balance. Oh, what happened? This failed. Why it failed? Oh, let's anyways run this. We'll see, right? Oh, okay. I think, after changing the code, it didn't pick the right version. So that's why it is jumping from here. But yeah, we got the error. Watch here. Minimum balance should be a negative integer. And now I'm trying to change Mahesh again. And was there? Tab. It is calling this. It is doing the validation of my minimum balance again. And run. You should see the error twice. Run. And you should see the error twice. You know why? I mean, always you'll get the error one more time. Okay, if you check in your environment, it is maybe it is just showing one time in my environment. You can check. The reason is whenever you are trying to kind of do the validation, you are not checking for which field you want to do the validation. Why this field ID is given here? You want to check for which field you want to do the validation, not like do the validation for all the fields every time, right? If you are changing name, do the validation for name. If you are changing minimum balance, do the validation for minimum balance. You are changing some other field, check the or do the validation for that particular field. That is what I want to show, right? So let us try to add some code, add multiple validations, not one, and we'll come back, right? So it will show, I mean, it will do the validation every time. That is the point here. The code is straight. We are not writing anything. The code, it will do the validation for more than once, or whenever you change any field, it will validate for minimum balance. That is bad, right? I don't want that to happen. So how we are going to check? Switch. You know why I'm using switch? You know the switch underscore field ID to check. There is one interesting thing with AX. You can add anything in the case, like case field num. The dynamic values can be passed into the case in AX, which is not possible in your C, C++, C Sharp, any other languages, I'm assuming, right? So let's go for VPB3 current account table, comma, I'm checking for the minimum balance. And was the IntelliSense, it will find, it will understand what you are trying to do, right? And the next one is, I want to just break this here. Next one is case field num. I want to add more cases. If you want to add only one or two validations, you don't need a case. You can use if it is minimum balance, if it is name or whatever it is. But if you have 4 or 5 or 6, 10 validations, don't try to use if for 10 times. Instead, go for case, kind of best practice, right? So VPB3, comma. The second one is I want to check the account type. Where is this account type? I don't have account type. Let me check. That's my table. Oh, this is my code of table. Oh, we don't have the right. Well, try for gender. Okay. We don't have account type. So we'll try for gender if this dot gender is not equal to VPB3 underscore gender female. I'll throw the error. Or you may ask why it is only for female. It is say Gramina Bank, okay, only for female, or Mahila Bank only for female. Okay, so return equals to check failed, and what is the error? Only female is allowed. Right? So that's very simple. And yeah, you can write break or you can skip break because it is last case. And if you don't have anything, you can add default also, but default is not required in this case, right? So because we are not writing anything, I mean, we don't have any other things, like we don't get other than minimum balance, gender 0 or whatever it is, right? Without anything. So I'm going to use the two validations. You can add more. Now the question is how we are going to add these validations using the field name. I'm not going to work on this validate field value because anyways we know how it is called. Instead of this, we have one more thing called as modified field value. When we go there, will not work on modified field, will work on modified field value. That way we'll use the name. Okay, so let's simply build this and run this, and it may take couple of attempts to get the debugging point to hit. So please bear with me. These are all not my problems. Okay, if it is my problem, yeah, honestly I'll tell you. And before a few days back we were on 8.0, if you remember, we never used to get this problem. We are able to use the table browser also. Now I came back to 7.3 due to machine availability, and that's why we have these problems. But we'll shift to 8.0 in very near future, say in kind of 10 days or 15 days we'll jump to that. The machine will become free. Okay, I'm running. Let's hold for a second. Let it run. Come on, quick. We already wrote one custom method, if you remember. Oh, we wrote or we didn't write? I think we didn't write. We'll write two methods now. Okay, after these two are done. I don't know if it loaded my fleet management or not. I don't see any breakpoints here still. If you get the breakpoint, you don't see that, yeah, we got the breakpoint. You'll see that solid red colored stuff, right? You don't see hollow red colored stuff. You'll see solid stuff. And when I say solid, it is like this, right? The solid red colored, dot. And if you keep there, you'll see the kind of information also. Otherwise, it will say the symbols are not properly loaded or whatever it is. So you should see that. And yeah, I hope our friends who has the same problem with debugging should be able to understand, right? Something. I'm trying to edit, and yeah, I'll change this H, and watch. It will not go through my validation. I mean, it will call validate field here, but the field ID is not the minimum balance field ID. It is name field ID. It is not gender field ID. It is name field ID. So it will just don't need to worry about the those fields, and it will not do anything. Now let me change this to -5000 and tab, and you are going to see the problem here. Now when you switch, it is going to throw the error. It has to actually go into switch also. Okay, it is not picking the right, right symbol. So it is saying your code is not up to the date, and it is not just showing to that. I'll close that and I'll open again once we are into debugging, right? We'll just do one thing. We'll close this and it will open now, right? Let's try. And yeah, just 1 second. So the value here you can watch is we are getting the minimum balance error. In addition to that, let's get the error of this one also. I'm changing to not this one. I cannot save this until I save this one. I'm sorry. Let's check one more thing, right? I want to save this record to jump into other record. Otherwise, it will not save permanently. That kind of use of this is the same thing. Or you can watch there also the last value, previous value using ORIG. I told you ORIG yesterday. If you use this dot ORIG, you'll get the old value. If you use this dot the actual field, you'll get the new value, right? So it is showing the same thing here. Okay, we don't get this kind of stuff in AX 2012. I don't want to focus more on that, right? So let me go back to this one, and was there validate field is getting called, and it will not throw the error, will not see an error because it's positive value. And I just want to save this record. When I click on save, it is calling the validateWrite. Now validateWrite is called before the record is saved into the database. It will not call simply for each and every field. You know why I clicked on that? I want to change this to male and change this to -10,000 and see how the error is working. I'm changing this to male. It has to throw the error saying males are not allowed, right? Only females are allowed. And the second one is I want to change this value to -10,000, and it has to throw the -10,000 error was there. And let me click on save, and was there. Some of the information is not valid. You must enter valid information before you can continue. So these validations are working, and you can watch there we have more than one error. So fix those errors and then continue to the saving. It will go to the validateWrite and it will save. So this is how AX is going to validate each and every field. There are two methods, validate field validate field value. The difference is validate field will have ID, validate field value will have the name of the field, which you know you will easily understand. If you go to that, you will see which field is modified looking at the name, but ID we don't understand. 60002, I don't know what it is. So that's the difference. And anyways, you have to change these values now from male to female and from minus 10,000 to plus value, and then you can continue with saving. I'm trying to change these two values. Let's see now. Female, and run. You lose that error. You'll not have that error. And the next thing we want to do is change this to the positive integer. Was there? You lost that error, right? It's showing only one error. You don't have that error, right? So change this to positive value, and now it's going to validate that, right? And finally, you don't have errors. Now save. It is going to the validate write run. As simple as that. I hope you are clear how the validate field and value are working. Whenever you change any field, it will go to validate field and validate value. And if you don't use that switch case for field ID, it will call that validate field or validate, the field validation for all the fields you change, which we don't want to happen. You know, I'm changing name, it will validate minimum balance. I'm changing ID, it will validate minimum balance. I'll change pin code, it will validate minimum balance, because I'm not checking for the ID of the field, which field to validate. So what it will do, it will validate all the fields whenever you, it will validate whole code or whatever the fields you want to validate for each and every field you change. And remember, this validate field and validate field value methods are called for each and every field value you change. Say you have 150 fields, you are modifying 150 fields, it will call these two methods, right? So that's about this stuff. And we want to go for a couple of more methods so that we can complete these standard methods. Those two methods are where is my table? Yeah, here it is. I'm overriding my modified field. Oops, here. And the modified field value, looking at the name, you will understand, right? Modified field is called when a field is modified, and modified field value is also called when you modify a field, right? And why we want two methods? Actually simple, as simple as that. It is calling those two methods only for one reason. You have ID here, you have name here, and when you are going for EDT arrays, you'll see something difference here. Should be easier. I'll tell you what is that EDT array. You can see here the array index. I'll tell you once we are done with this one. I mean these methods and the table properties. We'll go back to few EDT properties, few table properties where we'll close. And that place I'll tell you what is EDT array. You'll see some difference. Okay. So now anyways, watch, I don't want to go for this modified field because it is field ID. We know what it is doing. I'll go to the field value. Modified field value, when it is called, you changed the field value. It is validated successfully. Successfully in the sense the value is right. After that, it will call the modified field and modified field value. When validation is success, it will call the modified field and modified field value to say, yeah, it is successfully modified. The field value is good, validation is done, and the value can be applied to the SQL. This is what it will conclude, and it will say modification of the field is done. Remember, it is not applied to the SQL. It is still not updated in the SQL because it has to call update method or write method or whatever it is. You have insert, update, etc. methods, right? It has to call that method, and it is not called, right? So, but still, the value went into the SQL without committing, right? You will have begin, commit for every update. Without committing, the value will go into the SQL. If you select star from with no lock, you'll see that value. Or you are going to have that value at least in AX buffer here. And if validation fail, it will not keep that value. It will throw the error. That's it. As simple as that. Now, what kind of code we want to write here? I'll tell you some small code. Okay, now I want to check the field name first because we don't want to write this code, whatever we are trying to write. We don't want to write for all the guys. That's the point here. We don't want to write this code for all the field modifications. So I'm changing zip. I don't need to modify anything, right? I'm changing the account to type, current to saving, saving to current. Yes, I need to write some code. What is the code we want to write? The minimum balance of current is 10,000 rupee. Minimum balance of savings is only 500 rupee. If you go to the government banks nowadays, it is 1,000 rupee, I think, SBI, SBH. But minimum balance for current account is 10,000. Minimum balance for the savings account is 1,000. So you want to change that minimum balance. Say someone is trying to shift from savings to current, they need to add more 9,000 rupee. Or if they are changing from current to savings, they'll get 9,000 rupees. They can take that rupees, right? It is not logged. The amount is not logged on the name of minimum balance. So those kind of changes, if you want to change, the meaning is I'm trying to change one field. It has to update another field or another record or another table record or whatever it is. In that case, we'll go for this modified field value. I hope you understood what is the requirement. Whenever you are trying to change the field value, some field value, it has to update another field value, or it has to update another table field value, or it has to update another record. Whatever it is, you have to go for the modified field or modified field value. As simple as that. Now my case, I have male and female. If I try to select male, it has to give 10,000 minimum balance. If I select female, it has to give 15,000 minimum balance. That is the plan. So for that, I'm going to write some code. Let me comment this code, the gender, because this will cause problems for us, right? Will not have that code. Let us go for the field name this time. So how to get the field name? Shall I check like this? I can check. It will perfectly work, but you should never ever hard code. You should never ever hard code, because especially field names kind of things in future, if you change for whatever reason, you'll get the problem here. It will not identify, it will not throw the error. If it don't throw the error, you'll think it is working and it will not do its validation or modification. So what should I do? Instead of using this, what should I do? You have to use field str, which will get the field name. I'm going to use vpb3 comma gender. This will convert your field name to string. Field str will convert the field name to string. Actually, it has to show something if you open. 1 second. Field str. Oh man, it is just kind of showing something here. I'll show in Google, because it has to show the IntelliSense. Whenever we open this, it has to show the IntelliSense. It is trying to show the IntelliSense, but the first thing, whatever it is finding, it is showing that, right? So that's bad. Yeah, field str will get the field name, converting the name of the table field into the string. That is what it will do. Okay, remember, because when I try to open the method, it is not allowing me to show. Let me try, some other field. This dot modified field, and when I open, it has to show what you have to pass was there, the field ID underscore field ID. In the same way, the field str has got that syntax. Field str should have that syntax. I mean, it has to show, but the first table is accounting distribution, right? It is showing the same thing. Okay, it is not picking up the field str syntax. It is instead showing the first table whatever is available. So it is showing some table tooltip. So yeah, don't worry, you can just remember this. And you may ask, how you know all these methods? How I'm going to know all these methods? If you go to the system documentation, you'll have the classes or methods kind of stuff, few things, and there you can watch what all the things there. As simple as that. And I went through all those things when I have some free time. I mean, I'm just showing whatever we need, right? And in future, if you want something, go through few of them. You'll find something interesting. Those system documentation will have this stuff: the fields, the methods, the tables, the base enums, the standard entities. They are from kernel. You cannot change them. As simple as that. And not only this, you have one more class called as global. The global class is going to have the similar kind of methods, not field str, but few mathematical methods, few trigonometric methods, those kind of things. You can go and check. That is global, right? In the classes, go to classes and check for the global. And that's how the stuff is going to work. Few are deprecated like WinAPI, but few are there. You can check. Okay. Now, anyways, I'm into the field name. the field name is gender. If it is gender, I will check now. If this dot gender is equals to VPB3 underscore gender male, I'll give this dot minimum balance equals to 10,000. Otherwise, I know only two values, right? Otherwise, I'll check or I'll add which case, which males, which female, all those things. I know it is either male or female. So I'm directly assigning yes. This dot gender equals to 5,000. Oh, sorry, 15,000. Right? So if it is male, we are giving 10,000 minimum balance. If it is female, we are giving 15,000 minimum balance. Don't worry, you don't need to pay. Government.
Balance.
Thanks. If I don't write properly, don't worry, it will throw the error while compiling. But the problem here is if you give in double quote, okay, it will not throw error. As simple as that. It will think it has to check for XYZ, but it will not throw the error, right? So that's why give this. Now, by mistake, if you give XYZ, you'll get the error saying XYZ field is not there. That is great example in both the cases, right? So that's why never ever hard code. Try to give the proper comparisons and save here and check these system documentation stuff. If you find something interesting, or go to global class. If you find something interesting, just make a note and practice. I'm building this now, and yeah, once it is built, we'll wait for only 30 seconds kind of let IAS reset happen, because it is not picking the stuff right away. So we'll wait for 1 or 2 kind of seconds, then we'll start the stuff. Okay. And meanwhile, just remember these 4 methods: the validate field value, modified field value. They are called in order. First validate field, then validate field value. If validation is successful, it will return true or false. If it is true, it will go to the modified field and modified field value. And now you know how to use the field ID and field name, because we used field ID in validate. We are using field name in modified. There is no difference. You can just write the same code in modified field also, or the validate field code you can move to validate field value. But instead of using field ID, you have to use the name. That's the only thing. And I'll tell you, you see the array index, right? I'll tell you when we go to the EDT arrays. I'll tell you once we are done with these things, we'll jump there. And right, this is about your validation and modification. Let's run. If it throw the error, I'll stop. I'll run again. I don't have any other way. Okay, as simple as that. I think it will throw. It is not at all loading my symbols. Sure. Oh, what it is doing here, it is taking long time. Oh, good man, it loaded the symbols. It loaded all. No, it is not loading my table symbols. What is the problem there? That is bad. Yeah, but I don't care. You can check in your home. Okay. Loaded? Yeah, seems they loaded. I don't know why it is behaving strange. Whatever it is, loaded. So let us kind of wait. I'm editing the record. Let me change this from male to female. And was there we have minimum balance 5,000. I'm changing to female. And was there, it is calling these 2 methods, validate field value. Then it is going to modified field and the field value. Your minimum balance is 5,000. Now I'm changing to 10,000 because it is male. Run, and you can watch. Oh, sorry, we changed it to female, right? Okay, it's 15,000. Now from female, let me change to male. And was there, it is still 15,000 in your UI. It is calling the validate field, validation good, validate field value. If validation is successful and if it return true, it will go to the modified field. Otherwise, it will not go. You can do F10, F10, F10 and check, right? Run. And it is coming to the modified field. The meaning is validation successful. We'll do one thing. We'll give minus 5,000 and we'll see whether it will come to modified field or not. Run. And your minimum balance is 15,000. We are changing to male, right? Not female. I'm sorry. Last time we changed to female. Now we are changing to male. The value should go back to from 15,000 to 10,000. Let us try. Run. And the value got changed. It is automatic. So if you want to do these kind of things, you can go for the modified field and you can ask, is there any standard example where this guy is using? Yes. Go to the customer form and or create a sale order, change the customer group. It will automatically change few fields. The field is sales tax and discount type or whatever it is, payment term, all those things. You have few things, it will automatically change them. You can just go and check. Right? Now let us go back and change this field minus 10,000 tab, and was there validate field is called, validate field value is called, it will throw the error, it will not go to the modified field because this is wrong. Right? Now I'll remove this tab, validate field value, modified field value. So for each and every field, whenever you modify, change some value, it will call validate field value, modified field value, as simple as that. Right? Now let us run, and that's done. So once everything is done, you can click on save. It will go to the validate write. Okay. Oh, breakpoint is not there. Oh, I think breakpoint is not there, so it didn't hit. But yeah, it will go to the voice validate insert, and then it will go to the update or insert or delete depending on the action you are trying to do. Okay. So that is how the stuff is going to work. So I want you to remember these methods. A lot of times people don't remember these methods. I'm trying to modify a field value. Which methods will get called? The first one is validate field. Then the second one is validate field value. And now if validation is true, I mean the validation is successful, it will go to the modified field and then modified field value. And remember, this will happen for every field. It's not like, okay, some fields will have these methods, some fields will not have these. It's not like that. These methods are called for each and every field you modify. You change the value. If it is successful, go to the modified. If it is not successful, validate will do the validation until you change the value and it returns true. Otherwise, it will not go to the modified. Once it go to the modified, the meaning is you are good to go. Simply, you can save the value. That is the point. And again, you will have validate write. I don't know if you are trying to validate again in the validate write. If that is the case, yeah, take care. You should validate. You should successfully validate all the fields, whatever you want to validate. We don't validate all the dummy fields like name, pin code, all those things. We are going to validate important fields like the amounts, all those things. It depends. It depends. If you ask me which field I should validate, it's all your end user decision. It's not even your functional guy decision. End user will say, my users are giving some spaces or something here. Can you please validate? That is what they'll say. Usually that happened for us. Actually there is some organization where people gave text box for adding the voucher number. Few guys used to give space before, few guys used to give space after, few guys used to give wrong values. And out of 200k entries, there are 350 or 360 entries, bad entries, which went wrong. They are not able to compare. They are not able to get the report for them. The only reason is they have problem with these spaces and wrong values. Wrong values are few, but spaces they are a lot. They'll give space. I mean, by default, even a lot of guys, if you guys go to Excel, by default they'll give space to get the cursor. You don't need to give the space in the Excel sheet for getting cursor. You can simply type, it will take automatically. But people got habituated, a lot of guys, and that's how you'll get this problem. Yeah, just go and remember, and you can add these kind of validations can be done in validate field value, or you can modify the values also using modified field value, as simple as that. Right? So these are all the standard methods, whatever we are watching till now. These are all standard methods. When I say standard, AX is giving these methods as part of the table. Oh, where is this table here? Right, it is here. Right.
Uh,
Hello.
Kumar, one question.
Yeah.
Like when, in which circumstances will go for validate field, and when, in which circumstances will go for modified field? Are there anything specific?
Actually, both are different. I think maybe I confused you. Validate field is for validation, and validation, it depends on your kind of field. If you want to do validation for a field, you have to go for validate field. And modified field, you are trying to change some field value. When you change some field value, you have to change the value of another field. In that case, you will go for modified field. You got me? Hello?
Yes, yes, I got
Both
it.
has got different purposes. Validate field and modified field are different. Validate field is for validation. Modified field, when you try to change some field value, if you want to modify another field value, like in my case, I'm trying to use male female example, but the most common example is if you change the discount type, you have to apply discount percent, different percent. That is where you have to use the modified field. You got the point? And validate field will decide whether you want to apply the discount or not. This customer, we should not apply discount. Why? Because he is first time customer, one time customer. Every one time customers, if we give extra discounts, we'll lose the money, right? So that's the point. You got the point. Validate is whether we should do or not. Modified is, okay, we did that, and what we should do on another field or another record. That is the point. I hope you should be clear.
Yes, it is clear.
Cool. So now, these are all the standard methods. I mean, when I say standard, AX has given these methods and we try to override these methods. That's it. As simple as that. We have a lot of methods, and actually, 1 second, please. We have around thousands of methods, standard methods. If we can watch, it takes a lot of time to watch each method. If we can watch, say, 60 methods a day, it takes 300 days for watching only methods. So we are watching whatever we are going to use every day. You can just go to any other table and watch if any other method other than whatever we have seen is there in those tables. If you find some method, whatever whatever we didn't learn, you can come back to me. So if I'm saying this confident, you have to understand how confident people are going to use these methods. There is one more method called a scan submit to workflow. We are going to see this method when we go to the workflow. Till then, we don't need to worry about that method. And yeah, rest of the methods, they are called at some point, which we don't need to worry. So it's all there. A lot of methods are there used by internal also. Like I told you, caption or clear. Clear, you're going to call. You don't need to modify anything. If you modify something in clear, the meaning is you want to initialize when you clear. No, right? What will modify in clear? So they are called at some point depending on AX requirement internally or externally by us. You remember these: do, delete, do, insert, do, update. We used to call them for bypassing this validation or insert or delete or update method calls. But yeah, if you want to do something here, if people are calling do insert and you want to do something here, you can add them, but not required, because we are using them for bypassing. We have to give something facility to them to bypass. If you are not letting to bypass forever, they'll not have that way. It is a hard rule in that case. Remember, if you have a hard rule saying you should not use these methods, you can go and comment super here. It will not do anything. Simply comment super. It will not allow to use these methods, but don't do that. I'm just telling you. Right. I think there is one more query by someone. You can ask.
Yeah, Kumar, I posted it on that chat window. I was asking, like,
Okay.
the validator method is the same thing, right? Means you can put a particular field should have minimum 6 characters or something like that, like we have in the like websites. The same thing we
Right.
can.
I mean, your question is, we can have it when the focus moved from one field to another on the form. Validate field is doing the same thing, right?
Yeah, so that is what my question is. Is it like when I click on submit and like it goes and tries to like insert or update the
No,
record in the
we don't have,
validator?
I mean, we don't need to. You want to do server side validation?
No, I want to do like means while filling the form itself, when I move from one field to another, if I have not filled in the proper condition, it should throw some kind
This
of.
is what it is doing.
Okay.
You got me? You changed the minimum balance to less than 0. You pressed a tab and simply it was throwing error saying minimum balance is wrong.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to confirm.
Oh, confirmation, or you didn't understand? I'm sorry. I don't know if people didn't understand. I'll repeat again. Validate field or modified field, they are called immediately whenever you change the value of a field. Immediate effect. Okay. You change some field value, it will call validate field value, modified field value. As simple as that. And you can, do the validation if you have some validation. You can skip the validation if you don't have any validation in validate field. And one more thing, if you go to your, like state or something in your UI, say in your Google, if you select the state, it will select the country and pin code automatically. So how it is doing? Modified field. So you are changing one field, it is updating the other fields. That is what it is doing, right? So it's all validate field and modified field stuff there also, here also. And we are not doing any color coding. If you want to do color coding, yeah, there is one example in WhatsApp. We are trying to fix something and our friend is able to fix. So you can just watch that and change, or don't change now. You don't need to worry. But yeah, still that is how it's going to work. You are clear, Saurabh?
Yes.
Okay, great. And the second question, actually, I told to all of you guys to use WebEx Recorder. And the problem here is, even after sharing, uploading and downloading is becoming hard. I don't know why you don't want to listen to me. You got my point? WebEx Recorder, you can record right away. I'm giving the tool also. I told you to try once. It's not Saturday or Sunday. I told you long back. I don't know why still you are not using the tool, where you are going to record yourself, right? No, it will record. It will record. There is some problem with you. I'm sorry, you know why I'm telling it will record? Because I attended some sessions before 6 months back. I recorded the sessions. They are not AX session. That is some other technology session. I don't want to reveal. But yeah, I recorded myself. Okay. And we can, kind of try together once. We'll see. And anyways, I'll see where is my video and I'll try to upload again and I'll tell them. If you have something to send privately, maybe you can call. You want me to open this private message? If yes, please ping me. Otherwise, if you scold me or, yeah, WebEx is purely free. You can download WebEx Recorder and play it. Is it possible to get this Sunday session alone? Yeah, sure. I'm going to upload that, but I think I already gave them, sent in mail, but I'll find again. I'll try to upload again. Okay. I don't know, somehow, I don't know if they missed or it is not reached, or the mail or whatever happened. But whenever I take the class, if I recorded, I'll simply upload immediately, right? Yeah, I got your point. No, there is no kind, don't worry. I'm going to share that. Okay. So the problem is, I don't know if I, sometimes I'll not have that video. I'll keep somewhere, it will go over. So that's why I want you guys to make your own recording. And most of the times I'm presenter, right? I don't care about these videos. Okay. Right. So, right, we want to go for 2 more methods. They are new methods, not like existing methods. You see there, the 2 methods are find and exist, right? You don't have find and exist method. F, you don't have find. E, you don't have exist. So why we want to write find and exist? Actually, if you go to any table, any standard table, like a primary table, master table, you are going to have 2 methods. They are find and exist. Find and exist. The find method is used for finding a record and returning the record. The exist method is used for checking the existence of the record. These 2 methods are called in the code by someone, and in a job or in a class or whenever they are writing the code, if they want to get the record quickly, they don't use select star from table name, where they don't declare buffer, they don't use all these things. Instead, they'll simply use the find method or the exist method. Exist will return true or false. Find will return only the record, right? So let's check how the find and exist are there in these methods. View code and find open and oops, let's go here. Oh, not bankcast account. Where is true find method here? Come on. I'm sorry, it is declared somewhere. Let me find the declaration. Oh, previous one should be good. Just 1 second, right? So cast table find. Yeah, this is my find. I'm in same table, but was there? It is, I mean, kind of taking a lot of time because I think it is at the last. Watch, it is at the last. We are trying to find all these to navigate. Instead, I just jumped, right? So was there the declaration is static? Why static? Actually to call this find method, we should not ask them to create the buffer, use the buffer for calling the find. So that's why it is a static method. When I say it is static, you can use the table name colon colon. You don't need to use table name dot. You can use table name colon colon, and you don't need buffer. If you want to use table name dot, you need a buffer. Cust table buffer dot. This is what you have to say. But if you use static, you don't need buffer also. Directly use the table name colon colon. That is the use of static. We'll discuss more about static when we go to classes. I'll show you. But find, you have to pass the primary key. This is mandatory. Why primary key? Why not other values? Anything which is unique here, rec ID, customer ID, or your mobile ID, but don't pass name. If you pass name, if I select for Suresh, how many Suresh I'm going to get? I may get more than one record because it is not unique, right? So you have to pass something unique so that you can use it for finding the record. That is the point here. Understand the point? If you pass the unique value, you can find the record. If you pass the duplicated value, you don't find the record. That is the problem. So that's why you want to pass the unique value to find. The second one is whether you want to select for update or not. That is the point here. If you pass true for update, it will select for update. If you pass false, it will not select for update. It will select for simple selection. It will do simple selection. So if you want to select for update, you have to pass true. This facility we are giving. This is declaration done by us. It is not a standard method. It is written as part of our development. And for a reason that we want to select or we want to check the existence of a record. And this is very simple. You can copy this method and write the method, as simple as that. I'm going to copy this and write. I can write my own method, but yeah, we'll follow the convention. I'll just show you how to copy. That's it, right? And the second one is exist. You will have exist also. Watch what this exist is doing. It is returning true or false. How I'm saying true or false? This guy is checking for rec ID not equal to 0 or equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, rec ID is not there. If it is not equal to 0, rec ID is there. If rec ID is there, record is there, the meaning is existing. If the rec ID is not there, the meaning is record ID is not there. It is 0. So it will return false. The record is not existing. As simple as that, right? We'll just try to use these two methods in our table, write a job and hit the debugger and see how it is working, whether it is giving us the checking existing or not, or whatever it is, right? We'll create a job also. I'm copying these two methods. The first one is exist, and where we should write in the table. Let's go to the table. How to write? Not override. It's a new method. Whatever the methods you write, the new methods, they are not called automatically. You have to call them. Remember, I copied this code. I'll copy the find code also. And we want to change as per our requirement, right? We'll change, right? I'm copying this code also. Let's see how the code is working. And actually I don't need to write this hangama stuff. We don't understand what it is doing. I'll write something simple, easier, right? So we want to pass the customer ID, right? What is our customer ID? I really forgot here. Our customer ID is VPB3 bank customer ID or whatever it is. Let's check. EDT is VPB3 bank customer ID. BNAK was there, right? So don't miss. Let's go to the code, and it is not cust account VPB3 bank customer ID. It's not cust account VPB3 bank customer ID. And I want to give easy stuff, right? So don't worry about that code, whatever is written. Current account table, cust table, and select cust table where cust table dot customer ID equal to underscore customer account. I can simply say select rec ID from. I don't need to get all the fields, right? Because I want to check if record ID is available or not available. If it is 0, the meaning is this customer account record is not there in my table. And if it is not 0, you will have some value. The meaning is there is some record available. That's it. Now return cust table dot rec ID. If it is 0, false. If it is non-zero, true. As simple as that. Or you can say not equals to 0. The meaning is it will convert to true or false. If it is true or false, you should not return integers, right? AX will support. If you return 0, it will take false. If you return 1, it will take true. But it is bad practice. If it is Boolean, you have to return Boolean. Now rec ID not equal to 0 will return false if it is not equal to 0. Will return false if it equal to 0. Will return true if it is not equal to 0. It will compare not equals, right? True or false. It will return either true or false. This is simple. That guy wrote some bigger code which we don't need to worry about, right? And the second thing is my finding. How to write the code for finding? Do I need these? Yes, we need these things. And the next one is the table which we are returning is VPB3 underscore current account table, right? It is not my customer table. It is current account table. And I want to get the current account table now. How to get that? I'm going to simply select the same thing, select for update or whatever it is. It is not mandatory to write here before or after. I can do one thing. Instead of checking for update, I can simply use this. If it is for update false, it will not select for update. If it is for update 2, it will select for update. This guy is doing, lot of extra validation. And the second thing is, first only is used if you expect more than one record. If you expect one record, you don't need this. It's not mandatory. But it is a best practice to use that, right? So what I'm trying to do, if you give some real customer account value, something other than blank, we can call with blank also, right? Other than blank, if I'm passing this, I'm trying to get the record. I don't need this also. This guy is doing a lot of extra validations, whatever we don't need. That is what I want to say, right? What we'll do, select our cust table. We'll see all these things later, where cust table dot customer ID equal to underscore customer account. You know the statement? Select my customer table record where customer ID equal to customer account. The question is, should I give for update or not here? If I give for update, it will always select for update. If I don't give for update, it will never select for update. So if I want to select for update, I have one extra method in the buffer called as select for update. Am I going to override this select for update and write some code? No, right? It is a method given by X for, selecting for update or not. So those things we don't need to override. That's what I told you. You may see a lot of methods here. You don't need to override all the methods. Just override whatever you want, right? So now let's go back. Let's go back and select for update. We'll select for updation purpose. That is the point here. I'll give a breakpoint and you'll see whether it is hitting or not. Let us save. And you don't, you cannot, whenever you do any operation, it will not call these automatically. We have to call these from our own class or our own code. I'm going to write some code in this CRUD, set a startup object. So what we are trying to do here, we are trying to delete a record, right? If the record is there, I want to delete. Otherwise, I don't want to delete. Let's see how to do that, right? Let's keep this here. and so select, or first we want to check if record is there or not there. So how do we do that? Cust table or vpb3 underscore vpb3 underscore current colon, you don't need a buffer, colon, you'll see the methods whatever you wrote. These methods are static methods. I want to check if 1001 is existing or not. If it is existing, delete. If it is not existing, don't delete. As simple as that, right? Exist and pass the bank customer ID 1001. So what should I do with this exist? If it is existing, if it is existing, it is true. Actually you don't need to write this equal to true if it is true. If you want to check specifically for false or something, you need to check. Otherwise you don't need to check, because the problem is if 1001 is not there, if you try to delete, it will throw the error. So I want to check the existence. If the method, if the record is existing or not. If the record is existing, I'll go and do the stuff. If the record is not existing, I'll not delete. As simple as that. So what I'll do, write the code for deletion. I'll simply say info record is available for deletion. I'm not doing anything here. I'm just trying to write something. Okay. And the second thing is, before you update, you want to check whether the record is there or not there, and you want to get the record. So for that, what I'll do, I'll say cust table equals to vpb3 underscore current account table find 1001. I want to do for update, right? So I'll pass true. And was there, this is your syntax, right? This is your method definition. You can watch this and you can pass this. That's what I was trying to show for the field num. It is not showing for whatever reason. And now you see here, whenever you open the bracket, you'll see the name of the method, the parameters, all those things. True, as simple as that. And I'm passing true. The meaning is select for update. And we'll say record is selected for update if the customer table is there, but I'm just giving some info, right? Because we'll keep a breakpoint anyways. Let's keep a breakpoint. We'll see if it will go inside or not and stuff, right? So remember again, these two methods, they are very simple methods, find and exist. They are not standard methods. You have to write which tables I should write. Possibly all the tables whatever you created, you can write, right? I mean, you are going to have some unique value. Pass the unique value. If you don't have any unique value, pass the rec ID and write a method to get the record, to check the record and to get the record. Check the record is existence. Use the exist method. Get the record is find and get the record. So that is what you want to do. Is it mandatory? It is not mandatory. If you don't write, you will not get error from AX, but it is best practice because others can use them. That is the point, right? Let me run this code, the piece of code in the CRUD, and yeah, we have this in the main and nothing is there, all the code commented. We'll just jump directly to this one. Let's run and see. I want it to kind of work, debug, and we want to see if it debug, good. Otherwise it's bad. We'll stop, we'll run again. I'm thinking it will ask for username and password, maybe. If it run, it will show the values here, as simple as that. Okay. Come on, running. No error, no user problem. Are you going to hit or not? Yeah, it is hitting, watch, good. So was there, if the record is existing, it will go inside. If the record is not existing, it will not go inside. Let me run. 1001 is there. So F10 exist, checking F10 and checking the record. Record ID is 0. Oh, come on, man. Right, rec ID is not 0. So we got true. It will say record is there. Good. Now let's go back. So what is there in this cust table? Rec ID 0, right? Right now. After going inside the find and finding for 1001, if it is there, it will return 1 or something. Let's go. I mean, whatever the rec ID is. So it is returning the whole table and it is selecting for update was there, right? So for update is true. So it will select for update and it will return the whole stuff. Let's check. Okay, you can check in watch or you can check in locals also. Cust table, right? It has to show for update somewhere. You can check. It has to show somewhere. Where is it? Raw view. We selected for update, but I don't think, I mean, few things, maybe it is not showing the stuff because maybe something is there inside. So if you go to AX 2012, actually you will see here itself. Rec ID, bazu mein, it will show for update. Okay, it is not showing right away here, but yeah, still it is like for update we selected. You can try to go for transaction and do something, but it is not showing that. Maybe some kind of security issue or whatever it is. Now I'm running, so we are able to see this record, right? I want to change this to 1003 because 1003 is not there. Let's check if it is trying to find and get the record or not. Okay, as simple as that. Let's go to 1003 this time. Oh, stop. And 1003 this time. 1003 here. It has to get zeros. Let's see. Okay, build and hold on a second. Once it is done, we'll get into the stuff. I don't know if you guys are practicing or not. Practice once. Unless you practice, you'll not follow. If you already know AX, no worries. Maybe you already know these things. And do one small help. Ping me on WhatsApp for video. I'll forget otherwise. Okay. I want to find that. I don't know where is that. I don't know what is the session we have done on that day, Sunday. Is it methods only? The first session for methods? I don't know if someone is pinging. Select from drop down. I don't know what is this drop down. Maybe lookup. We don't have lookup. It is parent table. It is gender. Okay, good. It loaded the symbols properly this time. And I understand your problem with debugging. Equally, I have the same problem. It is not our problem. It is the problem with 7.3 and Visual Studio. Because we used to have the same problem with .NET Business Connectors in 2012. Okay, but yeah, we don't have anything to do. Right, so now F10. And it is trying to get the record. And it will return false because you don't have a rec ID. It's 0. Why it is 0? There is no record with 1003. As simple as that, right? It is not going inside. Was there? It didn't go into info. Now let us try to find for 1003. You are selecting for update, but still there is no record because 1003 is not there. You will not get any record. As simple as that. So instead of writing the whole stuff like you wrote in this find method and exist method, instead of writing all this code, I'm compressing that into one method and I'm giving a method to the end user or the end developer saying use this exist, use this find. You'll get the record with update. You'll get the record for checking whether it is there or not there, kind of stuff. That is the use of your find and exist. As simple as that, right? So I don't know if you understood all the stuff. I want you guys to practice, be back with the queries. That's why I don't never share the code, whatever I write here. I want you guys to watch the video one more time, write whatever I'm trying to write, practice or get your own examples. And these things are there in the book, but it is, I think, car rent or whatever. I don't remember what is the book example I wrote in the book. I forgot, it's long. I think truck and rent or whatever it is. Okay. So just go into the book. There are equally same level of validations and same style of explanation is there. So you can just watch that and be back with the queries. Okay. I want to know if you have any queries for the day. And yeah, I'll clear your queries and I'll sign off. Yeah, feel free, ask. Name, my name. You want to know my name? Difference between normal class and runnable class, where in real projects are both used. We didn't actually go to the classes. I'll tell you, runnable class will have the main. I think you have. No, I cannot hear you, but you started your mic and everyone is able to hear me, my voice. It's echoing. Please stop that. Okay, please keep mute. I'll explain what is the difference. Okay, please mute yourself here. I don't know who it is. Okay, good. Thank you. Right. So, actually, if you watch, I'll show you one example direct. Okay. So say this is my standard AX and there is some job which has to post all the open journals automatically whenever you run, or there is a job which has to post or process the assortments or whatever it is, some functional stuff automatically, right? If you watch, I have a job called as post statements. When you run this job, it will go find the statements table records, get the statements one by one, post them. And if this job has to start automatically by itself, it should have a method called as main. If you have a method main, the class is a runnable class. As simple as that. The class can run directly without calling from the other methods or other classes or other code, other forms or whatever it is. The class can initiate itself. You click on menu item, it will start running the class. As simple as that. But if you don't have a main method, you have to call the methods yourself. And that is a regular class, normal class, not non-runnable class. That is the difference. Only difference. If you have a main, it's a runnable class. If you don't have a main, it is a normal class, right? Yes, it is a job in AX 2012. We don't have job in AX 7. We call it a runnable class. Okay. The issue I have in warehouse RF menu, tried out applying color to control in vehicle reservation project. So it worked for me, but it my warehouse RF, it looks complicated. I don't know what is that complicated, but yeah, the same code has to work. You have the color code. The color code will apply the color as it is. I don't know what is the complication. That's why you have to share the whole stuff on Skype. Otherwise, there is no way I'm going to understand your requirement, looking at these small SMS stuff. I hope you got my problem. Okay. The small SMS, H, R, U, I don't understand those things. If someone asks HOW, ARE, YOU, I'll understand, right? Book name, DAX handbook, and it is in script D. DAX handbook script D Maro in Google, you'll find that. The method which you told today on form are those same methods present in table as well. Actually, Priya, I actually, it's 8:40. I should rush. Okay. I'll ask my brother to connect and probably he will connect. If not now, we'll share evening. Evening is the right time. I can come online at 7 p.m. IST. And the methods which you told today on form are those same methods present in table as well. Forms will have different set of methods. Table will have different set of methods. So I don't know. I didn't teach any forms. I was showing only one method in the form, that too only for debugging purpose. You have your own table methods. Whatever I showed in the table, you are going to have same table methods for all the tables you create. And because we were on table method, we are on table methods only, no form methods. And Priya, yeah, we'll see evening. So please be back. And the book, DAX, and book, it is there on script D type. Okay. So any more queries? Please, you can just remind me, on personal, kind of conversation, because I don't want to disturb everyone. Sunday session video, as I didn't attend that day. Actually, I need to find that. If anyone has got a WebEx session, please upload, because I need to find that. And I'm using, two machines interchangeably. I need to find that. Sunday session, I'm assuming it is on methods. So I'll try, and yeah, it's like 7:30 p.m. IST will be the best time. So please ping me on WhatsApp. I'll be there in home, I'll connect. Okay, I don't know what is the problem. Unless you show the problem, I cannot understand, right? So that is the problem here, right? Any more queries? And ping me one to one, okay, not like in common chat, because people will watch and they don't understand why it is given. Any more queries? I'll try to find that video and will share you for sure. Okay, I'm assuming it is table methods first session. I'll find that. And tomorrow we are going to watch the EDT methods and EDT related stuff and table properties, all those things. No, don't worry. I'm going to share, ma'am. If I have that, what I'll do with that, right? I don't need to listen that again, right? Because I told you. Okay. It's not last time. If I have the video anytime, I'm going to share. The only problem is I need to find that. Okay. And yeah, you can record your own stuff. That is one possibility, because I don't know, front office people, they may have, they may not have. A lot of guys are working, and I don't know which mail it will go and how people are tracking, who is tracking all those things, right? So I'm going to find that and I'm going to give that. And now I'm presenter here. In this case, I don't have access to recording. On that day, I had access to recording. I'll find that. But I thought you guys recorded also. So we'll see, right? Or I'll repeat the session myself again. Don't worry. Okay. So that's all. I hope everyone is good. We'll meet again tomorrow, same time, 7 a.m. and we'll see more stuff. Stay tuned. Thank you for your time. Great day. Bye. Ending the meeting for all the guys.